Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. If you didn't know, now you know. And today we're starting a new series. This is the first episode in Back to Basics. So we do a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of videos out there with awesome things for nails, but sometimes we gotta bring it back. There's a lot of beginners out there, a lot of people who are just starting out with nails, and they are not up to those skill levels yet. While it's entertaining to watch, we need basics. So Back to Basics is this, and in this video it is simply how to paint your nails, how to paint them. And we're doing nail polish. Now, painting with gel is a little bit different in the fact that the way you use the brush is slightly different and that you have to cure it. But this is for your regulars. You've got some nail polish. ORLY is my favorite brand of polish. It is so high quality. Highly recommend. So this is what we're gonna use today, and we're just gonna paint these nails. So let's do it. So for me, I like to have something to prop my hand on. When your hand is flat on a surface, it makes that brush real likely to bang into things and you don't have the room to flex your fingers. So if you put it up on something, that helps. I am not good at painting this direction, so I like to do it this way. And this is also the harder hand. This is my non-dominant hand, this is my dominant hand. So you always want to paint with your non-dominant hand first, because that one's gonna have more trouble. And so you don't have any wet paint over here when you're trying to struggle. And then when it's time to do this hand, this is the hand with the wet paint, but you can trust this hand more to handle the job. So you start with your non-dominant hand, since that's the harder one. You don't need any more challenges than you already start with. You'll definitely want to put down a base coat, not only to help your polish stay longer, but to protect from staining as best as possible. I already have a base coat, but obviously I also have tips on. You can do this on regular nails or on nail tips, and it is really helpful to have a cleanup brush. I like this one. It's from Manology, but it doesn't have to be a specific brand. It's got an angle and it is sharp. This is really great for like getting down into the edges if you make any mistakes, so that's helpful. And then I've got this egg cup that I use for putting my liquids in. You can use whatever sort of little dish you would like. And I just put a little bit of acetone in here for dipping that cleanup brush in. And then obviously you're gonna wanna have a paper towel. So let's say you dip it in there, you just wanna dab that off so that excess isn't on there anymore. But let's get started. So you just wanna make sure your polish is mixed well, especially if it has chunks in it. This one doesn't, so that's great. And then when you pull it out, it's gonna have plenty on. You don't wanna take all that. You wanna scrape down the edge. So make sure the stem is like touching the side. You wanna scrape that down and then pull off one side so that one side doesn't really have polish and the other side does. If you have too much, you're more than likely gonna flood. You can always add more. So we'll start with that amount. Now this is air dry, so it does dry quickly. So you kinda wanna work with some speed, and don't start all the way at the top. Start about right here so you can get the bulk of it off, and then you put it on there and you push upwards. So the brush curves out and goes close to the cuticle but doesn't flood, and you don't have very much paint on your brush at the time. And then on the side you go real slowly and push that polish down there. On the free edges you can overlap, but up here you want to be a little bit careful, and then roll the other way and do the same thing. Go real slowly. Make sure you're following along that edge but not flooding it. You really do not want much paint on here at all for this, and so you can barely see that. So we'll go in, we'll get another little bit on our brush, and we'll do the same thing. We'll just add a little more. And now this is still all wet, so this does not count as a second coat. This still counts as the first coat. And so once we get our first coat nice and even, then we wait. We want to wait for this to dry before we do our second coat. This is a sheer polish, so you can't really see it, but we're gonna do 2 coats. And 2 coats is the optimal amount, but you can do more for your desired effect. That's totally fine. Now, as far as dry time, it depends on how fast drying the polish is. And so it can take anywhere from 30 seconds to like 5 minutes. So I just like to be on the safe side and kind of wait until I feel not only the temperature move from being cold to body temperature, but also if you test it around the very edge or something, you want to be able to touch it and it does not have a sticky layer and it doesn't transfer, but it also doesn't leave fingerprints. it is going to take a lot longer for nail polish to fully dry down. So once you've got nail polish on here, even if it feels dry to the touch, that does not mean you can be reckless with your hands, because it is still soft inside, and it's gonna take hours, if not a whole 24 hours, for it to be like solid and stand up to rough behavior. So just be careful with it. Don't wash dishes with it. Don't fold laundry. Don't do anything that's gonna put pressure on that paint and cause divots and marks. So I'm gonna let this dry a moment, and then we'll come back and I'm gonna have all of them painted, and we'll do the second layer. Okay, so I can touch this and I can feel that it's dry enough to put a second coat, but I would not like scrub at it, because that would just roll it up. So let's do that. Remember to wipe your excess polish off. Start a little low so you're not putting too much and flooding your cuticles, and then just push it up. And then slowly go down the side so you're not flooding that either. And then you can go off the edge on the free edges in case you need to be able to get to it. All right, and then I'm gonna grab a little bit more and do the same thing. That way we know it's nice and smooth. You see, I can shake and do this. I don't know what causes this shaking. I didn't used to, but I do now, and so I've had to adapt to being able to paint even with the shaking. So that's what we've got, and then sometimes I like to just go down the underside. That way it's nice and smooth. So that's what 2 coats look like, which is all that I'm going to do is the 2 coats. Of course, again, you can do more. As you can see, I have not got that all over my skin, but if you do, use your cleanup brush. Make sure you get that cleaned up before it dries. Doing it while it is wet is going to be your easiest way to do it. If you wait till it dries, it's going to take a lot more effort. And I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat on the rest of these, and then I'll be back. Alright, so that's had a moment. It is still wet enough that if I push, it's going to leave fingerprints, but we're going to go in with a quick drying top coat. This is Polish Shield from ORLY. There are many brands of quick drying top coat. Some are better than others. This is one of the better ones. And when you're doing a top coat, it's important to remember that the way it works is it kind of melts the polish you're putting it on. That way it can create a smooth layer. So you don't want to push down with your brush. You just want to float it along gently. And this is similar, but you're going to work a little bit faster. So we're going to start out here. So you start as you do, and you get those layers on. That way it doesn't start to dry down, because if it starts to dry while you're still painting this on, it's not going to go on smoothly, and it's not going to leave a nice finish. So you see, that's how that's gone. Now with me, I like to start on the outside and work my way in when painting. That way I'm not putting my hand over wet paint. If I start here and go this way, then this finger is wet when I'm trying to get over here, and I'm more likely to stick my finger in it. But if I start over here, I'm moving away from that wet paint. And so that is the way I like to do it. Let's go ahead and get the rest of these top coated in. Now, it is recommended that you cap the end, and what that means is you go across the end with your brush. That way the polish wraps around, and that can help with your longevity and keep it from chipping off the end if that's something that you deal with. I don't get a lot of chipping. I don't know if it is due to the products that I use, or if it is just due to my nails being made of what they are, because these again are tips, but it also could just be lifestyle, because I don't do things with my hands that cause a lot of damage. All of that can make a difference, so don't just assume you're doing a bad job or that your products are bad just because they may chip. It could be lifestyle, it could be application, you just never know. But with practice, you'll get better, and with experience you'll know what works and what doesn't. And then we're gonna let these dry. Same situation, different amount of dry time, but make sure that you can touch it with a quick dry top coat. It's gonna leave a shell, and so once this is dry, you're gonna be able to do more. You're gonna be able to use your hands, and it's not gonna leave the fingerprints even if the inside layers are still a little bit wet. Let me go ahead and do the thumb real quick. Look, I've made a mistake. I let my pinky push up against this surface, and now it's got messed up. What you do, lick your finger and then tap it back into place. That's going to help push that down, but we are going to have to add more top coat because now it's textured. So polish, at least it is repairable if you get to it in time and to some degree. And you can even do nail art with polish. You just can't make mistakes because you can't wipe it away and start over. So there, we have fixed that. There we go. We have a great set of polished nails. They are shiny. We didn't get it everywhere. We have done quite a good job. I hope you have found this video useful. Please do let me know in the description below if you found this useful, if you're new to painting your nails, and how you have found the experience so far. Let me tell you, it's a slippery slope. I started out never painting my nails, and then occasionally, and now I'm obsessed, as you can tell by this channel. Thank you so much for watching this video, though. Definitely do check my description. I've got links and discount codes and all kinds of stuff down there that could be useful. And of course, go and check my socials as well. I post things over there that don't always make it over here. All of the links are there as well. And if you're a Amazon addict like me, there's a link to a Facebook group where I put discounted items and coupon codes. So go join that too. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.